When it comes to your finances, there's this one simple, unavoidable truth, right? Money will either work for you or you will work for it. There's no middle ground. So let's dive in and figure out how you can take command.
But before we get to the good stuff, we've got to face a pretty harsh reality. Take a look at this number, 70%. That means 7 out of 10 Americans who reach retirement age are depending almost entirely on Social Security. Now, that's not just some random number on the slide. That's a wake-up call.
Okay, so let's bring this home. I want you to ask yourself this, and be really honest. Do you control your money, or does it control you? I mean, are you in the driver's seat of your financial life, or are you just kind of along for the ride? Seriously, the answer to that one question, it changes everything.
All right, so if we're going to get control, we first have to pinpoint the real problem, the one most of us are dealing with, whether we even know it or not.
I love this metaphor because it's so true. Think of it this way. Money can be an absolutely incredible servant, but it is a terrible, dangerous master. See, if you don't give your money clear, specific instructions, you'll end up being the one serving it. You'll be stuck in that paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. Our whole goal here is to flip that script completely.
And here's the big trap so many of us fall into. We tell ourselves, oh, if I just made more money, all my problems would disappear. Right? But that's a total myth. Real financial freedom has almost nothing to do with the size of your paycheck. It's all about your decisions, your discipline, and how you think about the long game.
This quote from Jim Rohn, it actually comes from a moment that completely turned his life around. He was 25, totally broke, and his mentor, a guy named Earl Schaffer, told him this. And that one simple idea, it shifted his entire worldview and, honestly, changed his destiny. It boils down to this. It's not about how much you earn. It's about what you do with what you earn. All right, let's get into the foundation. This is where the theory stops and we get super practical, starting with the absolute first rule of taking back control.
Okay, this next quote is a bit of a gut check, but it's so important. It really drives home the point that managing your money isn't a math problem, it's a discipline problem. I mean, think about it. If you can't manage a little bit of money well, you're never going to be able to manage a lot of it. This is the absolute cornerstone of building real wealth.
So here it is, the foundational rule. It's called the 70-10-10-10 rule. The idea is simple. You live on 70% of what you take home. The other 30% gets a specific job. 10% goes to investing in yourself, your skills, your knowledge. Another 10% is capital you put to work, in investments that grow. And the last 10% is for giving back, for charity. I'm telling you, this one simple discipline, it can change your entire financial future.
Okay, so we've got our foundation set. Now, let's start adding some more tools to your financial toolkit. Tools that are going to help you really build a life of freedom.
Now, this next point might sound a little blunt, but it's a crucial truth about mindset. You'll see one person saying, "Oh, I'm too old for that," or "I just don't have enough money to start." But right next to them is another person who's just looking for a way to make it happen. The biggest difference between them isn't their bank account, it's their perspective. So, which one are you? Are you looking for excuses? Are you looking for opportunities?
And that brings us to this really important idea, financial helplessness. See, the biggest thing holding you back from freedom often isn't a lack of money. It's a lack of knowledge about money. It's just not knowing what to do. And you know what the antidote to feeling powerless is? It's knowledge. Simple as that. So how do you get that knowledge? How do you take control? Well, it really boils down to 3 simple but powerful habits. Number 1, plan your money. You have to give every single dollar a job, or I promise you it'll just vanish. Number 2, track your money. The numbers don't lie, my friend. They show you exactly where your priorities really are. And number 3, study your money. Commit to learning just one new financial idea every single week. It'll completely change the game.
Okay, let's talk about building an asset army. When most people hear assets, they think stocks, bonds, real estate, right? But an asset is anything that brings you value over time. Your skills are an asset. Your unique experience is an asset. Your knowledge is a huge asset. All of these things can be part of an army that works for you 24/7. The big metal shift here is to stop just being a consumer and start being a creator.
And this is how it all connects. It's a cycle of power, and it's awesome. You start by buying books. You turn that paper into knowledge. That knowledge sparks ideas. You turn those ideas into products or services that generate income. And then that income becomes capital that you can reinvest into even more assets. You see, it's this powerful, self-sustaining loop that just keeps growing.
Look, knowledge without action is just trivia, right? It's useless. So right now, let's turn all these ideas into a real personal action plan that you can start this week.
The very first step to making any real change is just being honest with yourself. So we're going to do a quick self-assessment. And listen, there's no judgment here, no criticism. Think of this as your financial mirror. It's just designed to give you a clear, honest look at where you're standing right now. So here are a few areas to think about. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is not so great and 10 is mastered, how would you rate your debt freedom? What about your automatic savings? Is that happening? How's your overall financial literacy? Do you have a solid monthly expense plan? Just take a second and give yourself a quick, honest score for each.
Okay, now look at your scores. Find the lowest one. Whatever it is, I want you to reframe it. That's not your biggest weakness. No, that's your greatest opportunity. Why? Because when you improve that one single area, the whole system gets stronger. So here's your mission for this week. Focus on that one thing, just one. If your lowest score was in expense planning, then track every single penny this week. If it was financial literacy, read one good book chapter or a few articles. It's those small, consistent actions that lead to massive change.
And let's end with, well, the deepest question of all. Being good with money isn't just about having a comfortable retirement. It's bigger than that. It's about the legacy you leave behind. What financial habits, what principles, what kind of philosophy are you going to pass on to the people who come after you? Because at the end of the day, true wealth, it isn't what you have. It's about who you become in the process of getting it.